is a special edition of Late Night Health. I'm Mark Alyn. We're going to try to figure out what we can do while we're quarantined, and even while we're coming out of quarantine with COVID-19, with our friend and buddy, Cynthia Rothrock. I bet you didn't know you were our buddy. Cynthia is a 5-time world champion in forms and weapons between 1981 and 1985. She's got, you hold 7 black degrees of black belt. I don't get all this stuff.
Yeah. I studied like 7 different styles of martial arts and have black belts in each style.
And do you still, I know you're not competing, but you still work out with it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I've never stopped from the day one, which has been over 40 years. So I've been, I train all the time.
Is martial arts a good way for, the average person, Joe and Jane, to maintain health? And maybe even during this time of, being alone and quarantine?
Well, it's definitely a great way to maintain health. And I think it's one of the best forms of exercise because, there's so many different exercise platforms out there we could do, but this is the only one where you can learn how to defend yourself while you're also getting in shape. As far as I think if you have studied martial arts, it's a good way you can practice virtually now with a lot of the classes going on. But I really do believe that if you don't have any martial arts training, it's best not to look at a tape or, try to do a class because you really need that hands-on instruction of correcting you what you're doing because you don't want to practice something and develop bad habits. But I definitely think, to me, I always say everyone should learn martial arts, men, women, and children.
Got it. So there's a physical part of martial arts, and I've seen you do all kinds of crazy things, taking out 87 people at a time, knocking machine guns out of their hands, all that stuff. But there's also a mental part of martial arts.
Yes, there's it's a lot of mental and physical because there's so much concentration. There's so much thinking process, remembering your moves, so it's a lot, it's a lot at first for the beginner, but it's definitely great, especially for children to start, like I would say like at age 5, because it really does help with focus and concentration and, their grades get better. But it's a lot. You have to remember a lot when you're doing martial arts, but that's what comes with practicing over and over and over again, that at some point you don't have to think and your body just will react to situations.
What about somebody who's, say, 50 plus, all right, and they've not done anything before? Could they do martial arts?
Oh, absolutely. I've seen people that started at 84. The thing about that is to find a style that adapts to your body. Of course, you wouldn't want to get into like a Chinese style called wushu, which is a lot of jumping and spinning and acrobatics. You'd want to stay something more that focuses on your hands and feet and not so much of the fancy style. So my recommendation is basically at any age you could start, and you just go and you look at different schools and you could say, oh yeah, I could see myself moving like that, and give it a try and see how it is. Because there's so many styles out there.
Most of the schools offer, 1 or 2 free lessons too, don't they?
Yes. Yeah, they should. If it's a pretty good school, they should have like an introductory program for you to start and try and see how you like it. And it's not only like learning, but it's also looking at how the students are, how the discipline is in the class, how the instructor, speaks, and you could get a feel like, hey, this school is for me, or no, maybe this one isn't for me. Let me try another one.
It shouldn't be, to me, like the dojos in Karate Kid.
No, it should not be. If you see that, run.
Fast.
Yes.
Right. You mentioned something. You said Chinese here. When you received one of your degrees, because you're a Grand Master, you were given a Chinese name.
Well, actually, I do have a Chinese name, and it's called La Fulok, And if you say it fast, Rothrock, it sounds like Rothrock. But I didn't get it because of my martial art championships. I got it when I did my first movie in Hong Kong, which is called Yes, Madam. And it was very hard for them to say Cynthia Rothrock. It was very hard. So I became Lawful.
I see. What is it? And what does it translate? Do you know?
Rothrock.
Oh, okay. Got it. That's easy. That's easy. How did you start? You started young, didn't you?
Yeah, I started when I was 13. And I kind of, even at that young age, I tried a lot of things. I tried different various musical instruments. I did baton classes. I did dance classes, so I was the kind of kid that always try it. And then I'd go, oh, I don't like it. I'm going to go on to something else. And my girlfriend.
And your family would say, but we bought the accordion already.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what happened in the martial arts class, because my girlfriend's parents were taking it. And I said, wow, that's kind of cool. And then when I got there, we're talking back in the late 70s, I was the only girl in the class. It was all men, and they were all punching and shouting. And I was like, I can't do that. And my mom signed me up for 4 months. They did not have the introductory program then. And the first class, someone hit me in the head, right? This is old school training now. It wasn't a business. It was like, hey, if you're not tough, you can't hang with us. And I got hit in the head, almost knocked out. The second class, someone said, hey, break this board with a kick. And I didn't even know how to put my feet in the right position. I broke my toe. And I was like, that's it. I don't like it. I don't want to go back there with all those men. And then my mom, said, I paid for 4 months. You have to go. And she put her foot down. So I always say I have to really thank my mom, because my career would not be what it is in martial arts if it wasn't for her making me stay.
And putting your foot down is kind of, you do that in martial arts.
Yeah. And what I realized from this too is that, a lot of times we try things that are hard and we give up really easy. And I learned from that point on never to give up, that everything is hard and it just takes time. And the more you put into it and the more you practice, it's going to get easier and easier. So, it was a really good lesson for me, one that I've learned and I kept throughout my whole lifetime.
Let's talk about COVID-19 a little bit and the martial arts community. Has the martial arts community accepted, the distancing, which is hard to do when you're fighting, have they accepted that? Are they, super washing their hands, wearing masks and all that?
Well, yeah, actually all the martial arts schools got closed down. So a lot of people have been doing a lot of virtual classes or teaching one-on-one virtually. Two of the big companies, Black Belt Magazine and Century Martial Arts, hosted free classes for all their members. And they also had a donation. If anybody wanted to donate, it went to the Red Cross. So they also were giving away free masks that, said Century on. So yes, everybody has been really good about it. Unfortunately, I've heard a lot of schools have closed because they just couldn't make the ends meet after being closed for so many months, and a lot of the students don't want to come back. So I think the martial arts school community has taken a pretty big hit on this. We'll know more. I think in some of the states, they're just starting to open up now. But it's hard for me anyway, to have a mask on and be training, because I don't know, I have a hard time going into Sprouts with my mask on and, going, I got to get out of here.
Yeah, I find the same thing. Same thing.
Yeah.
And I keep touching my face because of the mask.
Right.
I went and I had my glasses adjusted the other day, and the optometrist and I were talking, because I've been going to him for years, and we both hate wearing the masks. We wore them. We did not take them off while we were there. He had, it's pretty amazing, he's had plexiglass shields put on all the equipment. In fact, he's right across the street from Sprouts, the optometrist. And I should say that Cynthia and I live in the same town of Thousand Oaks, California. And we never run into each other at the market. It's amazing. I don't get that.
I know, right? Yeah. Well, that's because we haven't been able to go out.
Right, exactly. I don't think I've been to Sprouts in months. No, I haven't. I haven't gone to Sprouts. Gone to other markets, but I haven't gone to Sprouts. But I digress. Um, Wearing the mask and working out, it's got to be doubly uncomfortable.
For me, it is. I think some people say it's okay. Like, the people that are wearing them like at least 8 hours a day, like say if you're working in Walmart or something like that. And then I guess you get used to it. But the other day I went in to get my hair done. My hair salon finally opened and we both have masks on. And when he was rinsing my hair, he gave me a towel to put over my face. I had no air coming in. I blocked all the air. And then I started like panicking a bit. And then I was like, okay, just breathe and calm down. And then I got a tickle in my throat and I was like, oh, I'm going to cough and everybody's going to be looking at me like, what are you doing? You're coughing at this time, And then finally I had to take the one thing, I left the mask on, but I had to take the other part off. I was like, it's really uncomfortable for me because I like fresh air and I'm always in the mountains, So then when I'm limited just to breathing in here, it's not easy for me. And I guess for you too, because I think your glasses fog up, right?
The glasses fog up. There's one mask that I have, and they don't fog up if you really tighten it. You can tighten it on your nose.
Yeah.
And it won't. But then you can't breathe.
Right.
So I'd rather be fogged and breathe. I also went to my barber, and he's in little cubicles. And he's like an old-fashioned barber, though he's like 28 years old. He's a young kid. And he puts hot cream here and on the back of your neck, and then shaves it with a new kind of a straight razor. And it's very comfortable. And then after that, he has a hot towel machine, and he wraps you in that. But because of the mask, he only kind of semi-wrapped, and it wasn't as good as it used to be.
I know, right? You got cheated. I was going to say that sounds like a spa treatment.
Wow.
At least you got your hair cut. A lot of people are going around with really long hair or gray hair, or
Yeah, well, the gray hair, I live with that, but the other members of the family here, who you have met, she wouldn't want to be with gray hair.
That's just something that's really not fair. Men look good with gray hair, but unfortunately, most women don't like it.
Yes, exactly. What is your take on COVID-19 as it relates to health? In other words, Texas just opened up, right? And as soon as they opened up, they spiked again. Their numbers of the virus spiked. We're going to be with this a while, aren't we?
I think so. I think especially what's been going on in our city too, and all the crowds gathering, we're going to see a spike again. But I think we've been quarantined for almost like 3 months now. So everybody just wants to get out, get their businesses going. And I think it's going to spike because a lot of people go, but I don't know. I think we're more cautious going out now, so people still wear their mask or still washing their hands or trying to keep a little bit of a distance, in restaurants. I went to a restaurant the other day and they had like it said reserved for imaginary friends on every other table. And at first I walked in and I went, wow, look at all these reserved tables. And I realized that, it's distancing. And
wait a second, which one?
A Lazy Dog Cafe.
Oh, okay, sure.
I went to, It was the second restaurant I've eaten in like 4 months, so I was all happy.
We've taken out, but we haven't gone out.
Yeah. So I did. So I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like just be as safe as I can, and I tell my mom though, because my mom's in the age and she has underlying health conditions. I don't want her to go out, and she's having a tough time because, she's living by herself. She's in Pennsylvania. She's not here. I can't visit her, but I think people like that have to really, really, really be cautious,
Okay. And, Mom, you got to come out, move out here. Right.
That's what I said. I keep telling her maybe someday.
It's a good thing for her to I think it'd be a good thing, Mom. So come on out.
Yes.
I'm around, we'll We'll help you. We'll help Cynthia. What, as we wrap up our time together, what do you think is happening in America in terms of health? Are we healthy? I mean, you're kick-ass. Let's, right?
Yeah.
Our mutual friend Robert has told me that you could take me down 10 times and not even breathe. So I'm very respectful of that. But do you think most Americans are healthy?
Well, I don't know about most Americans. I think in our state, in California, a lot of people work on health a little bit more than maybe some of the other states. But I think this, for all the problems we had, the good things that come out of COVID is that, we're sitting home and like myself, like I would never do like a class on the TV or, I have an exercise bike. I had it for like a year. I never got on it, but it forced me to get on it. And I thought to myself, I said, I should be working out when I'm at home too, not just go out. And I started feeling healthier. I started feeling good. And I think because, being in the home situation so much, it made a lot of us say, oh, well, let's just do some sit-ups or let's, all the bicycles were sold out. It's hard to get a bicycle, like rollerblades. And to me, it's a good thing because a lot of people have found new ways to exercise, and hopefully when, and they feel that they're feeling better, that when we're free to go out and do everything, people will still keep up that regimen of working out because nobody wants to like just sit there, watch TV and eat.
Right. And well, this, I personally gained weight because we're not, I was working out 3 times a week.
It's interesting because I feel like I work out a little bit more, even if that's possible, because I like walk all my dogs. I have 5 dogs, and it's like, if you don't have anything to do, you say, oh, okay, well, I might as well go do some of those sit-ups, and I found like I got like an exercise ball. Okay, I'm going to get one of those. And then I got one of those kettlebells. Okay, I'm going to get that. And I started researching like a TRX up on my wall, and I feel a little healthier because I'm working out a little bit more at home than otherwise. Because, we're at meetings, we're going to lunches, we're going to dinners, but you have to focus on something. And I think one of the major things that we could have focused on is like health.
And what about eating? Has that been a challenge for you with COVID?
Yeah, I eat more. I eat more because I'm home. So I go, I got to work out more. But I think, yeah, it has, because I'm the kind of person I'm pretty good, and I kind of switched it off a little bit, saying, okay, I got to stop eating like this at night, because I'm a person that likes to eat when I watch TV. And I'm watching a lot of TV at night. So I'm like, okay, popcorn, watermelon, something. So then I tried to say, well, let me just have tea, hot tea, So I struggle with the eating at home as well, but I'm working out, and I think if we balance it, it's okay. But I think a lot of times some of us are eating out of boredom too.
Oh, there's no question. Absolutely. Yeah. There's no question about that. Well, there's nothing boring about Cynthia Rothrock. She's been on the show before. We've talked about her acting in a previous episode, and we'll have her back soon and continue our conversation. Cynthia, we've had your website up throughout our conversation. What is your website, just to make sure that it's correct?
It's CynthiaRothrock.com.
Cynthia, will you come back sometime?
Absolutely, anytime.
All right, good deal. Thank you very much. Our guest, Cynthia Rothrock, and just an amazing individual with martial arts, acting, and being able to take care of herself and anybody around her, which is why I'm there, because I want her to, beat up all the bullies. So
That's right.
I appreciate it. This is Late Night Health. Join us at latenighthealth.com. I'm Mark Alyn. We'll see you on our next episode. Bye-bye for now.